against Jadine Klomparens. Both these players 10-3 in top 8 contention.
So BBD right now with very shaky tiebreakers, so I'm not even convinced he can rattle off 3 in a row and get there.
I'd be surprised, but
he was in 20-something place coming in the round, was in 30-something the round before, so he's got to keep his fingers crossed, even if he's able to win this round and the next 2.
Players waiting for the green light. Going to take a look at their opening hand. We'll be underway here, round number 14 of action. Keep in mind, next 2 rounds will be brought to you by Matthias Hunt and Ryan Overturf. To close it down, they'll work our way through the high leverage rounds here today on Saturday. So who's going to make the top 8 and who is not of our invitational. And then tomorrow morning, we start bright and early, 10 a.m. for a little pregame show. And then we watch players battle it out to be the invitational champion, as Jadine Klomparens is on a mulligan to 5 here, unfortunately for her. However, there is a turn 2 play. It's a Duskwatch Recruiter. BBD had a Sylvan Advocate off a Hissing Quagmire and a Swamp. In for 2 comes the Advocate. Klomparens is going to fall down to 18. The follow-up for Brian is another Sylvan Advocate. We had back Jadine's way. She'll draw a card. There's a Sylvan Advocate for her, and she'll pass the turn back. So we go to BBD.
A little surprised there by playing the Sylvan Advocate. I guess it's the safer play. On a mulligan to 5, I might want to try the high-risk play of just letting my Werewolf flip. Then you have a 3-3 against 2 2-3s, and maybe you can slow it down that way. Jadine taking a safer line here, ensuring that she gets 1 block out of the trouble with the Sylvan Advocate against Sylvan Advocate, but again, I think I might have gone for a greedier play since she's already in such a hole.
Grapple with the pass here from Brian, a Swamp, a Forest, and a Sylvan Advocate. Sylvan Advocate's going to enter the battlefield thanks to Llanowar Waste and the Hissing Quagmire. 3 Advocates versus 1 for Klomparens, along with the Duskwatch Recruiter. Another Advocate here for Jadine. It's an Advocate battle. Brian is the one closer to 6 lands, however.
Now, if she had a second copy of Sylvan Advocate, then I like the line from the previous turn. Because now she can gang block one of them. BBD doesn't really have any attacks without having to play his removal spell first.
It's a Vessel of Nascency and an activation, a Swamp, a Ruinous Path, a Forest, and I believe an Evolving Wilds. Actually, that might be the old Mirror Pool from Brian?
Nope.
Okay, just an Evolving Wilds.
Yeah, just an Evolving Wilds.
Just wanted to make sure.
Art can look pretty similar on a lot of those lands. The only weirdo he's got the suite of green and black dual lands, 1 Blighted Fen, some forests, some swamps.
All right, fair enough. Evolving Wilds it is. That one's going to go to the graveyard. Brian's going to take the Swamp. And now here's a Traverse. It looks like Delirium is engaged here, I believe. Vessel.
Yes,
Traverse,
Vessel, right? Yep.
A land, and then grapple with the pass. That's 4. So he gets to search for a land or a creature. Dealer's choice. There's Ishkana. Graph Widow. Maybe not. I was just kidding.
False alarm.
Yep. Ignore me. There is Woodland Bellower.
This implies to me that BBD already has land number 6 rolled up in the hand, which means next turn he's going to be able to attack with some powered up Sylvan Advocates.
And probably search for another Sylvan Advocate as well.
Yep.
Klomparens' turn. Selfless Spirit to draw. Not so much. Recruiter will transform.
Nice.
Yeah. Creatures are cheaper now. Land 6 for Brian is a Blighted Fen. Here come the Advocates. They're 4/5s right now. It'll be a triple block here from Klomparens to try to get rid of 1 Advocate. Organizing the blockers appropriately. I guess that's kind of a win.
I mean,
1.
It's the best block that Klomparens can make given the circumstances. Long term, this is not much of a reprieve. But if BBD spends his turn casting a removal spell there in lieu of casting the Woodland Bellower, it kind of washes out the same way. We're in garbage time anyway, man. We're gonna be shoveling up in 2 seconds.
Yeah. This one's just about over, you think, huh?
1 Mississippi, 2. All right. Cool. Game 2.
Brian Braun-Duin is going to win game 1 here over Jadine Klomparens. Black-Green Delirium up a game very quickly over Bank Company. Both players going to go to the sideboards. We are going to do the same. We will start with Jadine, who's got a Tameo Field Researcher, 2 Ochidice Command, 1 Thalia Heretic, Cathar, 2 Negate, 2 Elder Deep Fiend, 4 Noose Constrictors, a Linvala the Preserver, and 2 copies of Tragic Arrogance.
Interested to see how much of the mid-range game Klomparens wants to try to play here. The easiest stuff, the safest route, is probably some mixture of Tragic Arrogance, Negates, Elder Deep Fiends, Ojutai's Command, the Tamiyo, just try to become a slightly bigger, slightly slower deck. You can push that too far, as we saw BBD can also get aggressive starts here, but I would imagine Klomparens kind of settles in for more of a longer, protracted game here.
Other side of things here for BBD, an Orbs of Warding, a Caustic Caterpillar, a Kalitas Trader of Gat, 2 Language, 2 Infinite Obliteration, 2 Deadweight, 2 Transgress the Mind, 2 Duress, and 2 Call the Bloodline.
I can get behind the Call the Bloodlines, the Transgress the Minds here, the Languishes, and the Kalitas. I think BBD can situate himself to have a better long game here. The Languishes are excellent in this matchup for doing that sort of thing. And a lot of even his smaller plays can be synergistic with Languish, like Tireless Tracker, like Sylvan Advocate over a long game. So I think BBD is probably going to just settle into being more of a control deck.
And there are the options there for both players. Klomparens will be on the play. And while we wait for these two players to finish sideboarding and shuffling up, let's talk about the Season 3 schedule here on the SCG Tour, shall we? We start here in New Jersey. It's the end of Season 2, the beginning of Season 3, thanks to the Modern Open that has begun. We've got over 750 players over here playing in that. Then we'll go to Richmond after that. Sunny Orlando, man.
Yep, Sunday Orlando, September 17th and 18th for some Modern, then Indianapolis at the beginning of October, which will be Standard. The regional championships will be October 15th. You can go to go.starcitygames.com/regionals for more information. We've posted all the venues, so you can get all the information there. Next week after that, we're in Milwaukee for some Modern action. Baltimore will have Legacy at the beginning of November, then a Modern Open in Columbus, Standard in Knoxville, and then beginning of December, the Season 3 Invitational in Atlanta, Georgia, December 2nd through the 4th, Standard and Modern as the Invitational formats.
Now, with all of our events during Season 3 of the SCG Tour, if you play in a particular format, you get a particular playmat. So if you play, in a Standard Open or Classic, how about a little Dark Salvation for you? Liliana and her zombies getting to work. If you do play in a little bit of Modern action, it's Steel Overseer, something that has helped Eric Hawkins quite a bit this weekend. And if you do play in Legacy, well, you get to bore your opponent to death with a beautiful Sensei's Divining Top. Free and exclusive playmats for their formats with entry into any Season 3 Open or Classic.
Both you and your opponent can put your Sensei's Divining Top playmat on the table, put your head down, and go to sleep.
Absolutely. Probably pretty comfy, too, those playmats are. As we get ready here for game number 2 between BBD and Jadine Klomparens, we'll take a moment to learn a little bit more about Brian Braun-Duin, a player that we have seen have so much success on the SCG Tour and now making his way through the professional circuit. He'll be at the World Championships in 2 weeks at PAX West in Seattle. 30 years old is the player from Roanoke, Virginia, with 14 Open top 8s, 1 win, 4 Invitational top 8s, no wins there just yet. He was studying computer science before he left to focus on Magic, and I think it's a good thing he did because he is one of the very best in the world.
Yes, and another player that we've gotten to watch evolve over the years, to go from good to great. It's been enjoyable to watch the process here. And Brian rewarded for all of his hard work. Believe he won via the GP Master invite, which is not just spiking one random tournament, but results accrued over the course of an entire year. So quite the accomplishment there. A lot of extremely good players were gunning for that slot, including Reed Duke, and BBD was able to get it done.
It was impressive stuff. It's a labor of love.
Yes.
A year of work, but he's going to the World Championships, and it'll be fun to watch, see how he does in that tournament, most competitive tournament in the world for Magic. See how he's able to perform. Brad Nelson, Mike Sigris, and a bevy of other fantastic players. Seth Manfield trying to defend the title, potentially go back-to-back at the World Championships this year. Klomparens, I believe, will be looking at 6 cards here. She can't seem to keep 7 in the feature match area right now. And I don't love the body language. No, I don't. Down to 5 yet again. Can Knight find a hand that she likes? And things are getting tough for her now. You know, this sort of situation, Brian wants to kind of play a grindier, longer game anyway. His deck is probably sideboarded to do as much, and he's going to be able to prey on the fact that she's only got 5 cards to work with.
And 5 cards makes it very hard for a deck like Jadine's to beat a Languish should that show up.
Yeah. Tough to have your top 8 dreams come to a close like this, but it is all a part of playing competitive Magic.
And very few people, even people who make the top 8, very rarely make it through a tournament of this length without getting unscathed in a match like this.
Absolutely. And for what it's worth, she can still win.
This is true.
It's not over. It's just going to be real tough.
Setup of the matchup here, I think, makes it very challenging. It's a lot of stuff kind of colliding and trading off. And being down 2 cards to open up the game is just a big challenge.
Lumbering Falls there for Klomparens. For Braun-Duin, it's a Hissing Quagmire, a Plains, a passing of the turn. Brian with a Swamp, and now there's a Transgress the Mind. So we're going to see what Klomparens is working with right away. Spell Queller, a Plains, a Yavimaya Coast, and a Tireless Tracker. Actually, a pretty good mulligan to 5.
Solid mulligan to 5. I would imagine, without seeing BBD's hand, that he's going to err towards the side of taking the Tireless Tracker, since that's a card that could potentially catch Klomparens up in the card count battle. BBD can play a slower game and kind of work around the Spell Queller at his leisure.
That's a Yavimaya Coast and a passing of the turn. We head back over Brian's way. Brian with a Llanowar Waste. There is a Nissa, and it's almost forced to be Spell Quellered here, and that's exactly what Klomparens will do. She'll draw a card. It's land number 4. It's an attack for 2. And BBD down to 18. We'll see if Jadine maybe picked up a copy of Collected Company as we head back over to Brian. Brian now with a copy of Ruinous Path. And Jadine has reached for her hand and the mana. All right.
Okay. We got
Another
a game.
Spell Queller?
We got a game.
Yep. Hissing Quagmire, pass the turn back. Let's go back over to Jadine. She'll draw.
I think the last card in her hand is Collected Company.
Okay.
And she tanked a little bit about playing the Spell Queller there in a spot that's pretty straight up. So I think she's got the goods.
Brian down to 14. Let's see what we have here. Brian gonna go with the Transgress. Is it time to respond? Yep, it is.
Sure.
Collected Company. Reflector Mage, obviously.
Yeah.
Not good right now.
Mandatory.
But, yeah, but obviously. And that's number 6. What'd she find? Duskwatch Recruiter, Tireless Tracker. Okay.
All right, some sources of card advantage too.
Yep. Evolving Wilds is not what the doctor ordered. Heading back Klomparens' way. She's got Lumbering Fall. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. She can attack for 12. There's a land. Get a clue. Am I the only one that wants to fire up Lumbering Falls here?
I do, just because it cuts off Languish as now the next turn.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Now, I got a little Fear of Grasp, but I'm not really sure how much she can do about that right now.
Right.
You know? Grasp kills Spell Queller, gets back something, so on and so forth.
I mean, your hand, you're sort of at where you're at, I think.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Let's go. Beatdowns.
Also, BBD had plenty of good windows to use that Grasp because of what was happening with the Spell Queller there. So
Brian is down to 2, and this Duskwatch Recruiter is transforming, and Jadine even has a clue on the battlefield, and a Lumbering Falls in reserve.
And BBD not close to Delirium, so Ishkana's not a route out of this. And again, Klomparens has even Languish covered with the Lumbering Falls.
Brian will draw. Can he maybe set off some sort of chain of killing Spell Quellers to get all those spells back? Yeah, and that is going to do it. Wow, Jadine Klomparens able to win game number 2 here over Braun-Duin. You can see a little bit of his reaction. Can't believe he just lost a game where she mulliganed to 5.
Yeah, I mean, that when we saw that Transgress, I thought we were done.
Me too.
Mean, just seven versus 5 cards and getting hit with a Transgress on the draw, already tough enough. But the top 2 cards of Klomparens' deck in some order were another copy of Spell Queller and a Collected Company. The Collected Company hit the goods there, and Klomparens able to get the job done.
Well, the play in the draw has shifted now, so Brian will be on the play. Do you see anything that might change? I mean, it seems like he might have more Transgresses than before.
I think it's much the same recipe. I don't think these cards change a whole lot in value. I would still want to be on the Languishes, even on the play. But so I don't think a lot changes on either side of this.
Well, these players will shuffle up. Get ready here for game number 3. Brian will be on the play. Now, he's made invitational top 8s before, so he's pretty used to what the prizes are at a tournament like this. You take a look at first place, it's $10,000, 50 SCG points, and an invite to one of our next invitationals. The next one, of course, being in Atlanta for our Atlanta Invitational to close out season number 3. Finally, let's look at $5,000, 40 SCG points, an invite to that invitational in Atlanta. Top 4, top 8, so on and so forth. You make the top 8 here this week, and you're walking away with at least $1,500 and 30 SCG points. But for the winner of this tournament, $10,000 is cool, but so is an invite to the StarCityGames.com Players Championship, to the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour. You'll get an invitation and a flight to that tournament, buys and free entry to our Opens, free entry to our Classics, and then, most importantly, your likeness on a token.
Yeah, it's $10K up front and a ton of additional prizes worth thousands of dollars beyond that. Plus, you get to be on a token, get to choose what that token is. We've had some iconic ones over the year. Could be you. And by you, I don't mean you listening, because you aren't here.
That's true.
But you kind of in the more general sense.
Yeah.
Down the line, it could be you.
Is it the royal you? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
That's not a thing? Can we make that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
By
perfect.
you, I mean not actually you.
Yeah.
But a person.
Yes.
That hypothetically could have been you in the past or could be you in the future.
It might be Brian's turn to mulligan now.
Yep.
Ah.
Can't complain when you get 4 mulligans in 2 games. You kind of owe 1 back.
Do you? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Looks like BBD will take a look at 6 cards. Oh, the swings of magic sometimes. We've all been there, right?
Yes.
You're up a game, you see your opponent mulligan at 5, and you're not pumping the fist physically, but maybe emotionally saying, okay, we're in a good spot. You lose that game, and then you look at your opening hand in game 3, and you go, come on. Now I have to mulligan? Oh, boy.
But you can't be mad about it.
Of course you can't be mad about it.
Because, BBD transgressed away the tireless tracker, which I thought was the right thing to do, independent of other information.
Yep.
But the spell queller was definitely way worse than the tireless tracker would have been that game.
Yes. And now he's to 5.
Yeah.
Anybody want to keep 7 cards around here? No?
No.
Nobody wants to keep 7 cards, I guess? No one wants to keep 7. Well, very quickly, while Brian does take another mulligan, he'll look at 5 cards in just a moment. Let's talk about who's qualified for the Players' Championship, a place that Brian Braun-Duin has been before. In Season 1, Max McVitie was our Columbus Invitational champion. He's your clue token right now, so congratulations to him. You saw Jeff Hoagland, Jerry Thompson, Andrew Tenjum win in that Season 1 points race. Top 3 players from our season points races qualified for the Players' Championship. And now Tom Ross, well, he's our first person who is locked for Season 2. So congratulations to the boss, Tom Ross. We will see him at the Players' Championship. And of course, defending champion DJ JD, it's Jim Davis, number 84. He'll be back to defend the crown December 17th and the 18th. Star City Game Center in Roanoke, Virginia for the StarCityGames.com Players' Championship. 16 competitors, $50,000. And maybe Brian will be headed that way, but he's got to start by keeping a 5-card hand and overcome Jadine's 7. Creature lands to start here for Brian and Jadine. Brian will pass after playing Atlanta War Waste. Klomparens with a Prairie Stream. She'll just pass the turn back. Slow start here for each player. Brian does have a 3rd land in Blighted Fen. The follow-up is Tireless Tracker.
As mentioned before, great card for trying to get out of a mulligan to 5.
For Jadine, does she have land number 3 and something to do? She didn't have anything to do on turn 2 because of the Prairie Stream entering the battlefield tapped. It's a Plains, and it's a Tireless Tracker of her own. Brian will untap and draw here in just a moment.
Got to be ecstatic that that was not Reflector Mage.
Yeah, no kidding.
Very important for BBD to have land number 4 here, obviously.
There's more card advantage, or at least catch up on the mulligan.
Gotta get the ball rolling here,
Tracker in. I kind of want to trade. How about you?
I'm blocking. Yes.
Okay.
No question about it. When you're up 2 cards and on the draw, just trade as much as you can.
Well, here's Liliana. Maybe to try to get back the tracker. Absolutely. Turn over 2 cards, get the tracker back, and pass the turn.
I like that line from BBD just fine, assuming that was really the only thing you could do there, but still in Klomparens' spot there, I'm blocking each time.
Tracker for Jadine. Follow-up is a Canopy Vista. There's the battlefield tapped. A clue token. There's Max McVitie, the Columbus Invitational champion. Let's go back over to Brian Braun-Duin.
I think BBD has a dead weight in hand too, so he's got land number 4. It looks really good. He can play Tireless Tracker, play a land, get a clue, and dead weight away the Tireless Tracker, and activate the Liliana.
That'd be a hell of a turn.
If he doesn't have land number 4, he's got to choose between A or B, and it looks a lot worse.
Well, Brian is in the tank, as they say. Not quite sure what he wants to do just yet. He will start with the dead weight. Tracker down. Liliana up. Pass the turn back. No fourth land for Brian. So over to Jadine. Klomparens will go. She'll draw. She has a Yavimaya Coast in hand. Also a Prairie Stream. Doesn't have 2 basics yet. There is a Yavimaya Coast. Lumbering Falls is going to take care of Liliana. Play that I like a lot. Get that thing out of here.
Yeah, anything that can generate card advantage, I think Klomparens is well served just taking care of that with the state of affairs there on BBD's mulligan to 5.
It's a tracker there for Brian. Trying to get this part of the game reestablished. For Klomparens, I think it might be old Reflector Mage.
Reflector Mage.
Oh,
that would be
a tracker.
Could still be Reflector Mage. A Reflector Mage.
There you go. Get that tracker out of here as we head Brian's way.
And that might be a wrap.
It's getting
That's a great turn there from Klomparens.
Yeah, it's getting real tough now. Tracker came down, brought a clue along with it. Reflector Mage is going to make it so that Brian can't replay his tracker. Now Grasp of Darkness will take care of Jadine's tracker, which is nice, but Jadine has 2 clues in the battlefield, which means more cards on the way.
Right, she's ahead on life, ahead on the battlefield, ahead on cards.
She'll crack a clue right now and draw a card. Canopy Vista is the land for the turn. Here comes Reflector Mage. Brian down to 16, and let's go over to Jadine Klomparens.
This would be a good spot for Spell Queller. Or perhaps a second copy of Reflector Mage.
There is Liliana, the last hope. You want a Spell Queller, you got it.
I like that play.
Yeah. Would you like to go in depth as to why?
Well, BBB spent his whole turn there and lost the card and is now under further pressure.
Yes.
And now Klomparens can draw cards, attack with her creature lands. You know, just a lot of good stuff going on here.
Play Sylvan Advocate, pre-combat.
Reflector Mage
Yeah.
and Spell Queller.
This will be an attack for 5.
Really
6,
good against
7, 8,
people
9.
who are missing land drops, I'll tell you what.
Brian down to 6. And now even Languish can't save him. It doesn't kill the Sylvan Advocate, nor does it kill the Lumbering Falls, which would be lethal. And unfortunately here for Brian, it's a mulligan that doomed him, and all he can do is extend the hand. Jadine Klomparens going to win this match here over Brian Braun-Duin. Bant Company going to take down Black Green Delirium for Jadine. Still top 8 eligible for Brian. No longer is Jadine Klomparens up to 11-3.
Yeah, congratulations to Jadine Klomparens there. Really great to be able to keep your head down and keep battling after a mulligan to 5 game 1 and stalling on 2 forests and then mulligan to 5 game 2. Very painful there for BBD. I'm sure when he cast that Transgress the Mind on turn 2 there in game number 2, you ask him, what do you think your odds are of winning the match?
Yeah.
Might have gotten a number around 99%.
Yeah.
But the top of Jadine's deck, very cooperative there, and then it was BBD's turn to mulligan to 5, and I think it would have been a stretch for him to make it the top 8 anyway, given what his tiebreakers were, but now at X and 4, he'll be playing out the stretch for a couple dollars, but will not be appearing tomorrow.
We will not see him for his 5th invitational top 8, unfortunately.